All right, so we would like to welcome everybody to our second episode of Behind the Wings, featuring head football coach Luke Barker. I'm Lizzie Maurer. I am the SAAC president.
I'm Chris Hoover. I'm the SAAC vice president, and this is our guest, Luke Barker.
Yeah, anything
thanks for having
to start?
me.
Yeah, no,
I
we love
appreciate
this.
You guys having us here.
Yeah, so we're going to start off like normal with our Fighting Falcons recap. So to start, men's and women's swimming had their second event of the season against Shippensburg and Cal U. Swim continued the beginning of their season with a meet against Frostburg State. They set 2 new pool records in the 400 medley relay by Carter Redelman, Zach Bishop, Patrick Fubio, and Adam Damari. Oh, I probably did not do good on that name, Chris. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Carter also set a record in the 100 back. Football won their game against UNC Pembroke 37-28. Emmanuel Richardson was named MEC Special Teams Player of the Week for his amazing work against UNC Pembroke. Richardson was 3 and 4 on field goals with makes of 36, 40, and 36 yards. He was also a perfect 4 for 4 on point after attempts. On kickoffs, Richardson had 8 total for 458 yards with an average of 57.3 yards per kick. The following week, football took a tough loss against nationally ranked Charleston. Women's volleyball had a busy schedule with matches between Charleston and Shepherd where they fell short of the win. Volleyball got back on track, picking up wins against Davis and Elkins and West Virginia Wesleyan. During the match against West Virginia Wesleyan, junior Joey Borelli hit 1,000 career kills. Women's soccer won 2-0 in their game against Davis and Elkins and also picked up a win against West Liberty 4-1. Serenity Thomas completed her first collegiate hat trick. They continued their winning streak by winning their game against Wheeling. And moving to men's and women's cross country, they placed 9th and 6th respectively in their MEC championships. Carlina Jaquez continued her incredible career at Fairmont State with a 4th place finish and earned MEC first team all conference. Men's golf wrapped up their fall season, taking 2nd in the Bluefield Intercollegiate Tournament. And lastly, men's and women's basketball conference preseason polls were released. The women were ranked first with 10 first-place votes, and men were ranked second with 1 first-place vote. And that is our Fighting Falcons recap. That was a lot. That was a long one.
A lot of big things we're all doing out here.
Yes. So let's get to it. Chris, you want to start off?
Cool, of course. So, Coach, this is your first year at Fairmont. You're newer to the Falcon family. Can you just tell us a little bit about your background, your upbringing, where your past coaching experience was, maybe playing experience, just about you?
I'm originally just from north of Cincinnati. I went down and I played at the University of Charleston a long time ago, and you guys were all little kids running around. I was fortunate enough to start coaching there, and then I went to West Virginia Wesleyan for a couple seasons, and then I went up to IUP for 6 years. And we had a great run up there. We went 51-11 during our time up there at IUP, and was fortunate enough to come back to my alma mater, coach the O-line there in 2021. And then I was fortunate enough to be the offensive coordinator when Coach Sanders took over for the 22 and 23 season. Mm-hmm. We went on a pretty good little run there. Fortunate enough to win the league last year. And then obviously I got the job up here at the beginning of February. So I got my family moved up in May. I got a wife, 2 little boys. So we're rolling.
Yeah, you guys
awesome.
got up here quick. It's awesome, and you have an extensive background, which is awesome. And this is your first position as head coach, correct?
Correct.
Just to make sure we are all aware of that. So that's really, really exciting. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's a huge step in a coaching career, especially in football. With that, obviously you're new to Fairmont State, but what is your favorite part about Fairmont State so far? So you've been here less than a year, but what have you found that you love about it here?
I like the people here. I think it's a very welcoming environment. It's a very welcoming place. You know, the administration's been great. All the other head coaches have been great. The staff, the faculty, everybody that's around here is very involved. And I don't think you find that at a lot of other places. This community cares about the school too. When we lose, we hear about it. When you win, you hear about it. So that's an important place where it means something. And I think that's probably been the nicest and easiest transition here. Is just the people have been very welcoming. We got a great little neighborhood that we're in, and they've welcomed me and my family in just like one of their own. And that's been the best part to me so far, is just the people. We got a good group of kids. A lot of returners. We brought in a lot when we first got here, but it's just good people around here.
Yeah.
I think that's something good I always hear about Fairmont, and something that I even preach to people when I'm talking to them about coming here, and was one of the things that I loved when I first got here, was just that close-knit community, whether it's inter-team, inter-university, or the entire Fairmont community as a whole. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it is called the Friendly City for a reason. I thought that was fake. I'm just being honest with you. Everyone, you have all these different things.
I found out about Friendly City like a week ago. I saw a shirt with it on it, and I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. But I didn't realize it was truly a thing, kind of how you were.
Yeah.
But moving on, what is your favorite part specifically about your job?
Yeah, I just like to be in with the kids. I think that's a big thing is you get to see them grow from the, even just the start of a season till the end of a season is fun. That's why I got into this. It's about the relationships, being able to help these guys move on. And, the best part about it is when you get them here as an 18-year-old and you get to see them leave as a 22-year-old, just the growth and the maturation that they get to, experience while they're in college. That's why coaching in college is the best. You get to see them, their first time away from their family. So how do they adjust from that and to then going on into the workforce and, going hopefully be productive members of society. That's the best part, is just being able to be with the guys and be able to, see that growth and maturation that they get to experience every day. And every day is a little challenge. Every day is a little different. And being a small part of that process is probably my favorite part.
Yeah, we heard that from Greg too. So it's just really awesome to hear from multiple people in our department that they are truly here for us, despite it feels like you guys have so much else to worry about. But hearing from so many people, as a student athlete and as a senior, you guys really have seen me grow. And I mean, it's just really cool to know that I also want to coach for my career path. So it's interesting to see what my future could look like through your answers to that question.
Well, I think people are what I got into this. People have helped me, in my life. And I think that's why I wanted to do this since I was a little kid, is I always wanted to be, I was told the story multiple times, but saw Jim Trussell run the guys out at Ohio State when I was about 11, 12 years old. And I said, I'm going to be that guy. And they said, which guy, and I said, the guy with the sweater vest, so that's always something I wanted to do, be able to lead these guys. And I think, that's by far the best part of the job.
Yeah, I love that. See, I'm a Michigan fan, so that story hurt me a little bit, okay. But, it inspired you, so I love that.
So, moving on, what big goals or projects do you have going on with the football team?
Well, yeah, I mean, big goals we have is obviously we want to win the league. We haven't done that in, I think 2000. We're on a 24, 25-year drought, and, that was our goal coming here. I said, having a streamlined process with the university. That's why we put our program goals and aspirations together, and our pillars as SOAR. That's the school's motto, is SOAR. And so that was important to us to be able to understand that we want to be unilaterally with the school's mission, and obviously we made it our own with football. But our goal is to win the league. That's the first and foremost, and then to make a little run in the playoffs. Haven't been back in the playoffs since I think 2015 was the last time. 2016, excuse me. And I was on the opposite sideline actually in that game when they made the playoffs. So, but that's our immediate goal in terms of as a team. But short term in the next month or so, we got to get on the road recruiting.
Yeah,
we have a big group of older guys that we're going to have to replace, if not this year, the following year, and we got to continue to upgrade in different spots that we need to go upgrade in. We got some guys that are leaving and they're hard to replace, and so that's what we'll do as we get done with the season. And nowadays with the portal, we got to recruit our own kids.
Yeah,
and so that's kind of our short-term stuff, and then we're going to obviously continue to try to grow and expand in what we do in terms of our community involvement and things like that, but. Our goal going into the offseason this year is to put a team together that will not only be successful in the classroom, but obviously on the field, and try to break that drought of conference championships here and get the first Mountain East one here for us.
Yeah, I'd love to see that back here.
Yeah,
that'd be really fun. I know football has always kind of been it's been good, it's been bad, it's been all over the place, but I feel like I'm seeing an improvement since you've been here, just from watching the games and seeing the attitudes of the guys on the sidelines. I can already tell from a spectator standpoint there's been a shift, so I think that's really, really awesome. And
I appreciate
that. You can kind of just see that mentality switch from where we were to where we're heading, and I think you're doing an awesome job with that. And I know in the box, we've talked about that before, so it's been really, really fun to kind of just watch and see how your coaching style differs from the former head coach and how the players are reacting, but it's been really, really fun.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We like I said, we got to continue to bring in the right type of kids, and we got to, to win a conference championship, it takes a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
And so we got to stay healthy next year, but the way to help that is to bring in some depth, and we've obviously have had some issues this year staying healthy.
Yeah.
But I think, continuing to bring in our type of kids and just a little bit different in terms of we got a little bit younger staff, so those guys will hit the road hard. And we got to go recruit, and we got to make sure we retain the guys on our team. And we got to make sure that they continue to do the right things in and out of the classroom and on the field.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a full-time gig.
Yes.
Keeping track of 100 kids running around, but it's
yeah.
Yeah.
That I could imagine that would be very difficult.
So you did kind of just answer this question, but aside from winning a conference championship, is there anything that you hope to accomplish in your time at Fairmont State?
Yeah, I wouldn't be in line. Again, it goes back to, what Dr. Davis's vision is: make it a great place to learn, great place to live, great place to work. You know, I want our kids to feel like this is their home. You know, they're home away from home. We have kids from, I think, 9, 10 different states right now currently on the team. And with the new transition that they're going to do with the tuition, we're going to bring in some more kids from the South and different states that we haven't recruited in the past. So I think it's important to make sure that we're in line with what Dr. Davis wants to do. And I want to make this a great place to live. I want our kids to be here. You know, even when they get done with their career here, make sure that this is a place that's important to them. Yeah. And I said this multiple times as well, is I want to make it a destination place. I want it to be easy to recruit here. I wanted people to see, well, they win, they get guys graduated, they do the right things in the community, and then, and in town there, the town cares about the place, and they feel that when they come on campus here in a place where, we get people reaching out to recruit themselves to us, not just the other way around.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's awesome because it's fun to win championships, but you also have the right guys, or have to have the right guys there on the field to do that. Yep. So I think really Dr. Davis's pillars he's set for this university are extremely important, and I love that that's something you touched on because it is a bit newer to all of us at Fairmont because this has been a big change, but I love that you brought up Dr. Davis. We said last episode there was going to be no way we couldn't bring him up every single episode. So
you got to get him on here. He'd be great.
Oh, we're
eyeing that up. But I think also, like, with Dr. Davis having kind of renovating the idea of what it is to be at Fairmont State, it helps to have, Greg, we talked with him in the last episode, you this episode, but also just a whole bunch of people around the campus who are bought in. Yes. It makes it so much easier to see that vision come to life when you all buy in, and then your student athletes buy in, the community buys in to this amazing vision for Fairmont State.
Well, and he's done a good job of how he's laid it out. You know, it went through the staff first, and now it's been to this university, and now we're getting out in the community and continuing to do that. But I think it's important to understand that, it's not just going to happen overnight. Yeah. There's a process in place, and it's, everybody nowadays wants instant gratification. It's the same thing I have to tell our kids. There's a process in place if you want to be great, and there's a sacrifice in place if you want to do something different. And, we got to continue to live that obviously as a program, but we have to understand that as a university as well to move forward. To do it together, we got to understand there's going to be some trials and tribulations. Yep. And as long as we stay together, we're going to be able to continue to move forward in the right direction.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
I think I answered your question.
No, absolutely. Every time. All right. What is an aspect of your job that people don't realize you do necessarily?
Oh, that's a great question. Paperwork? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, there's a lot more paperwork involved. When you're an offensive coordinator, you got to go recruit. You got to have your game plan together. Yeah. When you're the head coach, you got to manage everything. I think that, the scheduling is a little bit different. I don't think people understand how much it goes into just scheduling a practice and scheduling, a week and managing the whole staff and everything like that. That they don't know we do all the time. That's a good question. They obviously know we have to have a schedule. Yeah. If you got to have a schedule, we got to recruit. Just the paperwork, I think, that's involved. There's a lot more behind the scenes stuff that goes on than I think people realize. And then again, there's, I'm the head coach. We have our position coaches. So it's having the same message to the position coaches as they go out. I think we're the only sport where, we have one team meeting, but we don't really talk about football in those team meetings. We have 9 different position coaches, that then break off, and then we got to bring it back together and make sure it all works. And I think that's a unique thing about our sport is that's why they talk about the 111th is making sure that those guys, when they go into their position groups, I have to make sure that they're all on the same page, offense, defense, special teams, because I don't sit up there and talk about the offense or the defense. That's why we have guys do that. Yeah. But you break apart and being able to come back together is, I think, a unique thing about our sport.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost like communication. Yep. Like, yes, you're the head coach, and I feel like when you hear head coach, it's like, oh, well, they're running everything and doing everything. Yeah. But, like, you're really making sure all the puzzle pieces fit together and everybody's on the same page. So I think that's really interesting and an aspect that you wouldn't think about. But
I don't do a lot of football, as crazy as that is. Yes. You know what I mean? I'm the head football coach, but my job is to make sure, as you said, the puzzle pieces fit together. My job is to make sure everybody's on the same page. For sure. And my job is to make sure that everybody sticks to the vision in which how we want to run the program, and we bring the right type of kids in and the right type of coaches in, which I think we did, but that are all in that same vision and are going to continue to work together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So looking back throughout your entire career, this can be something here at Fairmont or at any point, what are you the most proud of?
I'm the most proud of the guys that I've been able to help graduate, change their situations throughout my career. Those guys that I still talk to randomly, or guys that still call me that you wouldn't think call me. I had a bunch of O-linemen. I didn't even coach the O-line at IUP that actually FaceTimed me last night. Okay, so those guys were just messing around. They're like, Coach, they're just then that they have families now, kids. They've graduated. They're in the real world. So those relationships, I think, are what I'm most proud of. I had a couple tight ends I coached at IUP that came to a couple games here, actually.
Wow.
They came to our fundraising event in the spring and had a good time in our night at the races. And so I think just those relationships is what I'm most proud of, to be able to communicate with those kids still. Not kids anymore, they're grown men. They have real jobs and families. But, to be able to see that, again, that maturation from where they started to where they're at now is pretty neat.
Yeah.
I think even, I can speak from the athlete end of that relationship, but I can even think of a handful of coaches who I'll still call, text, FaceTime from time to time, and just how important those relationships are to me. It's nice to see that is equally as important to a coach.
Yeah.
Well, I think the relationship piece is what makes college athletics the best, because you bring kids in from everywhere. It's not like nobody. You have randomly. There's a couple teammates that come here or go together to school, but it's can you create an environment in which people come from different states, different backgrounds, different areas, and put them all in the same vision and all in the same line? I think that's the most unique thing about college athletics.
Yeah, I love that, because I feel like that's an aspect that's like difficult for some teams and it can be hard. But I feel like at Fairmont, from what I've seen, like it is really truly community, and that circles back to like your favorite part about Fairmont is the people and the community, and how we make those backgrounds come together while not forgetting where you came from, but like accepting who you are now. So I think it's really awesome, and kind of going off what Chris said too, like it's really cool to see how coaches find those relationships just as important, and like you just were on a call with them. Like that's so fun. I love that.
Yeah, those guys said we didn't think you were going to answer. It was 9:30 last night. I said, well, I'm going to answer. I didn't. You haven't called me in 2 years. I know.
Well, yeah. Now you're concerned because it's your former athletes, and then your coach brain goes on like, are they okay? So, this is your first season as a head coach, and I know we kind of talked about that a little bit, but what has been the biggest change from being like a coordinator to now the head coach position?
I think the time management of things. I get in early. I've always gotten in early, but instead of doing football stuff, I get in to make sure that we have everything scheduled the proper way and everything's organized, and there's a lot more meetings and things throughout the day. So just the time management of doing that has been a little bit different. When I was the OC, it was just football, make sure we have everything lined up. Now it's, we got to make sure that, I go to academic meetings. I have to go fundraise. There's other aspects of it that play into it, where throughout the day, starting about 9 o'clock, there's different stuff that has nothing to do with football, but has to do with your program.
Yeah.
And so it's making sure that the time management of everything is on point to make sure we continue to stay on the same schedule. And that's probably.
Do you miss like the football aspect of it?
Some days, but I do like being able to sit back and be able to see everything, holistically. I still have my input, I need it to look the way that I want it to look, right, wrong, or indifferent. But it is nice to be able to step back, because you get to see kids in a different light. You get to see these coaches work, and I have a great group of staff. I was fortunate enough to be able to bring in my own guys. Yeah. And so that's nice to be able to see those guys. And then when they need input, I give input. When they don't want input, sometimes I still give input. But it's good to be able to see those guys even grow throughout the year. From spring ball to where we're at now is a complete change.
Yeah, for sure.
So on the Fairmont State football team, what's your favorite position group?
The tight ends.
No. Yeah.
I coached the tight ends for a long time. I coached O-line for a long time. I coached running backs for a long time. So, those three spots obviously have a special place in my heart, because I know how it should look. But the best personalities, they're in the O-line room right now. But we got a good group of tight ends too, just young. But the O-line room is fun. Those guys are all a little older, and it's a weird mix, because it's either old or really young in there. So being able to go mess with those kids is always fun. We have a good group of kids though, so I like messing around with all of them. But my heart's with the tight ends. I'm being honest with you, but if you want to go have fun, you go to the O-line room.
Yeah, well, I know you just made Eli Berge very happy, because he specifically told me I had to ask that question. I was a little concerned when you came out and said tight ends, but you mentioned the O-line, so I think it will.
If he would get rid of his mustache, I would be fine. I would have said them for sure.
He just did that too, so
thank goodness.
I'll let him know, or he should watch it and figure it out.
He'll figure it out.
All right, so what is your pre-game ritual, and are you superstitious at all?
I'm really not that superstitious. I have a pre-game ritual. I like to get up early. I like to get into the office and go through just our same pre-game routine. I run through each script, make sure we're on the same page. I think probably the most superstitious is I have to have an Alani new. An energy drink. I have to.
Love that.
That's my most superstitious thing. Yeah, the cherry one. I don't drink any of the other flavors. So the red ones.
You would fit in very well with the Acro team.
Yeah. I'm an Alani fan.
Yes.
Yeah. It used to be Monster until they dropped those Alanis, and now I can't get enough of them. So
that is perfect.
Yeah.
So these last couple questions here, the intent is that it's going to be a speed round, all right? So we just want you to rapid fire your answers here.
I go as fast as I can.
Yep. All right, so number 1, if you could coach any other team at Fairmont State, what would you coach?
Oh, the Acro team. They're the most athletic group on the field, and on campus. It would be fun. I don't know anything about it. I want to preface this. So I just want to watch, but it scares me. It scares me.
Me too.
When they throw them up in the air, it scares me.
I do the sport, and it scares me. So
you just made the Acro team very, very happy.
Yes, you did.
All right, what's your favorite food?
Oh, cheeseburgers.
Favorite thing to do outside of football?
Play with my kids.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
The Bengals.
No. Okay.
I have to say that.
We can't rapid fire when the answer is wrong.
Who's actually going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know that answer, but I'm a 49ers guy, too. I do like the 49ers every once in a while.
I need Detroit Lions, maybe at all.
They have a shot.
Thank you.
They do have a shot.
Thank you.
But I'm a Bengals fan. I'm a diehard.
Well, that makes sense.
I used to go to the games when they were 1-15. You guys weren't even. I don't even know if you were born yet then, but you used to be able to go to the games when they were 1-15. They were $8 tickets. So Jeff Blake was slinging it to Carl Pickens, and you guys don't even know who those guys are.
No.
So I'm gonna still ride with the Bengals.
Okay. Well, it's fine.
What are your top 5 favorite movies?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if I can rapid fire that.
Okay.
We'll figure that one out in a second. I like Hoosiers. I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's a sports movie, coaching a little bit. Remember the Titans is up there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I remember when it was in theaters. Again, you guys were like, it was on Blu-ray or something, but no, it was in theaters. I like Fast 5. You want some action in there. I like Shawshank Redemption if you want to get sad and also a little bit juiced up. It's an old classic. The 5th one. Oh, I'll go Avengers: Infinity War.
Wow, that was impressive.
A broad mix. I need a broad mix.
Well, yeah.
So who do you think that our producer Riley could beat in a 100-yard dash?
On our team?
Yeah.
Everyone in the O-line room. There's no doubt in my mind.
So would you be able to set up a race?
Yeah, you want to run them? Yeah, I'll set up a race.
Don't let him pull a hammy.
Yeah, we'll do it in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone in the O-line room. There's no doubt in my mind.
All right, last question. How many hours of film do you watch a week?
20 minimum, probably
gosh.
around then. Yeah. But I've watched the whole games. So, I mean, if you go through a 5-game breakdown and you're actually watching it, it's about 3 hours a game in terms of how I break it down. So throughout the week, that's not really even that much. It was a lot more when I was the OC, to be honest with you. And then you break it down into cut-ups and things like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, probably roughly around there now.
Wow. That is a lot of film. Well, that wraps up our interview section. You did great. I feel like we got some really fun answers, and it was interesting to get to know you a little bit more, and I feel like the community will be excited to hear from you. I know you have the coaches show, but that's very football oriented.
Yeah, it is.
So the point of Behind the Wings is to, kind of
get behind the wings.
Get behind the wings. Exactly. Yeah. So moving forward, we will talk about our upcoming events. On November 4th, volleyball is home versus Salem University. November 6th, women's soccer versus Frostburg State University. November 7th, women's volleyball at West Liberty University and wrestling at Salem University. November 8th, men's basketball versus Bloomsburg in the Joe Retton Classic, and women's basketball at Seton Hill University in the MEC PSAC Challenge. November 9th, cross country at Atlantic Regional Championships, wrestling at William and Jefferson Invitational. Is that right, Riley? Or did I make that up? Okay.
Sounds right.
It's W&J. I'm going to say it's right. Football versus West Liberty University, men's basketball versus Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania, and women's basketball at Lock Haven University. November 10th through 17th, women's soccer is at the MEC tournament. November 13th, women's volleyball at Point Park University. November 14th, women's basketball at Ursuline College. Oh my gosh, this one's killing me today.
Yep.
November 15th, women's volleyball versus Frostburg State. November 16th, football at Frostburg State University and men's basketball at Slippery Rock University. November 17th, wrestling versus Frostburg State and Kutztown University. I am very excited for that, but I just butchered probably half those colleges' names.
That's all right.
I feel a little bad. You know, it's
That's
okay.
a lot coming up in the next 2 weeks. I mean,
yeah,
busy athletic department.
It's really exciting, and I'm seeing we're getting basketball is up and going, wrestling's getting in there, football's closing out their season, and everything's kind of wrapping up.
Fall sports are ending, winter sports are beginning.
They're coming in, so really, really exciting. And we have exciting news. So we have our first Falcons of the week. So this is coach nominated and coach voted. Each week, any athletes or any teams that competed will be available to nominate an athlete that maybe didn't have the best statistics, but showed the most amount of Falcon pride and showed what it means to truly be a Fairmont State athlete. And this week, it is Gabby Smith from the volleyball team and Jack Hayes from men's golf. So they really demonstrated Falcon pride and shows what it means to be a Fairmont State athlete. So congrats to them. Really, really, really exciting. So, Chris, you can take us away.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure I'm going to plug the Instagrams every single time. Make sure you follow the Athletics Instagram at FS Falcons and our SAAC Instagram at Fairmont State_SAAC. And be sure to catch us back here on November 18th with our next guest. And don't miss what's going on behind the wings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.